the cameras flash, the crowd freezes, and just like that, Hollywood has a brand new obsession.
It really is that fast, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever felt like people only see, one highly edited version of you? Like society has just slapped a giant permanent label right on your forehead, and suddenly no one wants to read the actual fine print of who you really are.
Right, yeah. It is basically the ultimate modern dilemma. We constantly get sorted into these convenient little boxes because, well, it just makes the world infinitely easier for other people to digest.
Exactly. Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we are taking a deep dive into a story that perfectly embodies that exact friction between, the tabloid label and the real person.
We really are. We are unpacking the incredibly multifaceted journey of Sam Asghari. And to be clear, we are using a really dynamic stack of sources today. We're looking at a massive 3-hour sit-down he did on the Viall Files, plus some recent entertainment industry coverage from Collider, Moviefone, and Film News.
Right, and we've also got celebrity updates from iHeart and the News International. Plus, to really anchor the sociology of all this, we are weaving in an academic text titled Manic Pixie Dream Politics.
Yeah, that academic text is going to be so crucial later, because the whole mission of this deep dive is to look at the recent headline, Sam Asghari admits he'll always be known as Britney Spears' ex, and figure out how he is actually reclaiming his identity.
Exactly. We want to get past the surface-level noise and look at how he's actively navigating his life and career after that highly publicized marriage.
Right, and honestly, to uncover the surprising intellect, the relentless ambition, and just the sheer psychological resilience operating right behind all those flashing cameras.
It really is a story of resilience. And to even begin to grasp how he handles the Hollywood machine today, you have to look at the psychological blueprint he was handed as a kid.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because his origin story is, it is a total universe away from the typical Los Angeles child star upbringing.
Right.
He was actually born in Tehran, Iran in 1994. He was the youngest of 4 kids with 3 older sisters.
And the context of that specific environment in the 1990s is just critical to understanding his baseline for stress.
Yeah, he talked about this on the Viall Files, right?
He did, yeah. He describes a culture where childhood wasn't really this protected, coddled phase of life like we think of it here. He talks about his father literally being put to work by age 7.
Wow, age 7.
Yeah. And he shared this incredibly chilling memory of his older sisters being picked up by the morality police.
Wait, really? Just for being out?
Just because of how they were dressed as teenagers. It was a deeply restrictive, high-stakes environment where the rules of society were just rigidly physically enforced.
That is so intense. And then at just 12 and a half years old, that entire world just gets ripped away from him.
Right.
He moves to the United States completely alone. Like, try to wrap your head around that.
Because he was a minor, he bypassed the extensive visa background checks that ended up keeping the rest of his family stuck in Iran for years.
So he just arrives in America, and he's staying in a condo with an uncle who apparently happens to have severe OCD. And Sam doesn't speak a single syllable of English.
Not a single word.
Try to put yourself in that mindset. You are 12 years old, you are isolated from your parents, your sisters, and you're just dropped into a completely alien culture.
That kind of shock, it forces a very specific type of adaptation. You either shrink or you figure out how to take up space.
And he definitely chose to take up space.
Oh, big time. And the way he learned English is, honestly, it's an incredible piece of foreshadowing for his entire career.
Right, because he didn't learn it in school.
Exactly. He didn't sit in an ESL classroom conjugating verbs. He learned the language by absorbing American action movies.
That is so wild to me.
He studied the cadence, the confidence, just the sheer physical presence of these cinematic heroes on screen.
He was basically actively rewriting his own character from day one. He even changed his given name.
Right, from Hisam to Sam.
Yeah, just to remove the friction of his classmates constantly mispronouncing it. And he talked about dealing with pretty relentless bullying, too.
Yeah, kids making fun of his ears, calling him Dumbo, that sort of thing.
But instead of retreating, he adopted this really bulletproof, tough-skin mentality. He just flat out refused to be categorized as a victim.
And that physical transformation he goes through is staggering. If you look at his high school years, he wasn't the chiseled men's health cover model the public knows today.
Not at all.
He was a 300-pound defensive lineman. But crucially, he was also doing theater.
Wait, he was a theater kid.
Yeah, he was hanging out with the drama kids, performing advanced Shakespeare while also playing football.
That is such a funny image.
It really shows this dual nature,
Yeah.
the physically imposing force and the performer, both developing simultaneously.
And then after high school, he drops out of LA Pierce College. He's working the floor at Best Buy, and he just decides to radically overhaul his health.
Right, he drops all the weight, gets an agent, and starts booking commercial acting and modeling gigs.
You know, when you look at that whole sequence of events, the name change, learning English from action heroes, shedding the 300-pound frame to become a fitness model, it really feels like he was consciously forging a physical and cultural suit of armor.
A suit of armor. I like that.
Yeah, like he built this Sam the action guy persona because that was the exact armor required to survive and thrive in a completely foreign environment.
Oh, for sure.
So you really have to wonder, like, how much of his current Hollywood image is just the ultimate hyper-realized immigrant adaptation story.
The armor analogy is honestly spot on. When you are an outsider, you quickly realize that if you don't aggressively define your own narrative, society will happily define it for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And usually in a way that limits your potential. He realized that physical presence and an outgoing, unflappable personality were universal currencies in America.
Yeah, it was just a brilliant survival tactic. And obviously, it eventually morphed into a highly lucrative career path.
Definitely. And if you're loving these Hollywood twists and psychological deep dives, make sure you subscribe because we've got even crazier stories ahead in this very episode.
Yes, definitely hit subscribe because that deeply ingrained survival instinct is exactly what Sam needed when he stepped into the absolute vortex of pop culture in 2016.
Right, the music video era.
Exactly. So he books a music video for Fifth Harmony, their song Work From Home, and he is literally just a guy in construction gear holding a jackhammer.
But that alone lands him in Cosmopolitan magazine.
Yeah, and that visibility triggers a call to be in Britney Spears' Slumber Party video. And that's not even the wildest part of how they met.
No, the wild part is that his lack of typical American pop culture conditioning actually became his greatest asset in that room. Well, he wasn't a product of the Mickey Mouse Club era. He grew up in Iran, and his American musical diet was like 50 Cent and Eminem.
So he wasn't a Britney fanboy.
Not at all. He admitted he didn't know her catalog at all. He didn't have this built-up mythological reverence for her.
Right.
He just viewed her as the princess of pop, which he equated to a sort of American royalty alongside, Michael Jackson and Madonna.
Which is probably entirely why they connected. He wasn't starstruck. He wasn't intimidated. They were just chatting on set. And instead of fawning over her, he tells her this completely bizarre story.
A sushi story.
Yes, he tells her about eating sushi earlier that day that had a literal worm in it.
It is just weird, grounded, everyday banter.
Exactly. And that mundane interaction leads to a sushi date, which kicks off a massive 7-year relationship.
But as anyone who follows this stuff knows, it was a relationship heavily defined by extreme external pressures.
Mostly her highly restrictive conservatorship.
Right. And he noted the dark irony of that situation in his interviews. He came from a country where women were systematically suppressed by men, only to step into the inner sanctum of American pop culture and find a remarkably similar dynamic operating in the shadows.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. He described getting a phone call early on from someone in her camp, dictating the literal rules of him dating her.
That is so incredibly dystopian. But inside their own private bubble, he essentially just tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, right?
Yeah. They watched cartoons, they binged Friends, they cried together over the movie A Dog's Purpose.
A Dog's Purpose. That is so wholesome.
Right. And when the conservatorship finally ended, he proposed, basically checking off the life goals she had literally written down years prior.
And so they got married in 2022 and ultimately divorced in 2024.
Yeah.
And Asghari is just highly realistic about the aftermath of all this. He acknowledges that he will likely always be known as Mr. Britney Spears.
Right. The title of our deep dive today.
Exactly. He told the press people will never stop asking about her. Yet he holds zero ill will. He fiercely defends her as a genius artist who was just preyed upon by the machinery around her.
And, the way the media machinery processes his identity now is deeply complex.
Oh, for sure.
Which is exactly why That academic excerpt in our stack, Manic Pixie Dream Politics, is so illuminating here.
Right. Let's get into that because I was fascinated by this connection.
So this text examines how media frequently objectifies high-profile women across the political spectrum. And to be clear, the authors are totally impartial here. They cite figures ranging from Michelle Obama and Melania Trump to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Sarah Palin, and Hillary Clinton.
Okay, so it covers the entire political map.
Exactly. And the core thesis is that the media often strips away their professional competencies, their individual agency, and their personal histories.
To focus on what?
They reduce them entirely to their aesthetic appearance, or, most importantly, their proximity to power.
Okay, I see the framework. But wait, how exactly are we mapping a sociological study about female politicians onto a male fitness model and actor?
Because the underlying mechanism of the media is identical. It just operates in a gender-flipped way in pop culture.
Oh, interesting.
Right, because the media functions on heuristics, basically mental shortcuts. It is way too time-consuming and complicated to explain Sam Asghari's nuanced history of immigration, his psychological resilience, or his acting ambitions.
So they just slap a label on him.
Exactly. The entertainment media reduces him to a single, easily digestible relational label, the pop star's husband, or now the ex.
Wow, yeah.
Just like the politicians in the study, his individual personhood is entirely eclipsed by his proximity to a massive cultural force. They put the label on him, and they absolutely refuse to read the fine print.
Okay, hold on. I have to challenge this framing just a little bit.
Sure.
Because comparing him to a politician whose agency is being stripped away feels like it ignores a massive reality of Hollywood.
What do you mean?
Well, Sam Asghari was a guy doing construction gear music videos. Getting into a highly publicized relationship with one of the most famous women on the planet gave him a massive platform.
Oh, undoubtedly.
It gave him a level of PR and access to rooms that would normally take decades to reach. So is this really a tragedy of media objectification, or is it just the ultimate Hollywood shortcut that he willingly took part in?
That is a very valid critique. And to his credit, Sam explicitly acknowledges this reality in his iHeartRadio interview.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he is completely self-aware about the privilege of his position.
Yeah.
He freely admits that the relationship gave him massive visibility and a platform.
Well, that's refreshing, at least.
But what he points out, and this is the objectification theory really holds up, is the hidden tax on that visibility.
Wait, what kind of tax?
The tax of industry laziness. He noted that casting directors and producers would often view him as cheesy, specifically because of his tabloid association.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, they didn't see an actor. They saw a piece of paparazzi bait. The very proximity to power that opened the door also made the people inside the room refuse to take him seriously.
So it's a total double-edged sword.
Exactly. He stated that he has to work twice as hard in every single audition just to prove he is a legitimate talent capable of playing a real character rather than just playing Sam Asghari, the tabloid fixture.
Which perfectly brings us to the most interesting part of his career right now, how he is actively fighting back to shatter that specific label.
Right.
Because later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming with his new production company. But first, look at his recent reality TV run.
Oh, his appearance on season 3 of The Traitors.
Yes. The strategy he employed was brilliant. He walked into a Scottish castle full of massive reality TV egos who immediately judged him based on his tabloid persona.
They totally underestimated him.
Exactly. They thought he was just a superficial fitness guy.
And instead of trying to defensively prove how smart he was, he weaponized their underestimation.
He played totally ignorant.
Yeah, he stayed quiet, performed the physical challenges flawlessly, and basically just let the veterans' paranoia tear each other apart.
He used their own bias completely against them. I mean, he was ultimately murdered in the game and placed 9th, but he proved to the audience that he could navigate highly complex, deceitful social dynamics without ever needing to lean on his famous connections.
And the real reclamation of his narrative is happening on the big screen next.
Oh, yeah. This is the craziest full circle moment. In 2026, he is starring in the finale of a major action thriller trilogy called The Gentleman Thief.
And he is starring alongside his absolute childhood hero, John Travolta.
Unbelievable.
Sam plays a character named Victor, who is part of a high-stakes crew executing a $100 million yacht heist against a ruthless enemy named Sulzar.
And the poetic irony here is just, you can't write this stuff. When we look at the movie phone and film news sources, he actually told Travolta on set that when he was a 12-year-old immigrant trying to assimilate, he watched Travolta and Denzel Washington in The Taking of Pelham 123 on repeat to learn English.
Right.
The guy who literally taught him how to sound American is now his co-star in a massive Hollywood heist movie.
It is the absolute culmination of that hyper-assimilation strategy we discussed earlier.
A suit of armor?
Exactly. He forged the action hero armor, and now he is officially getting paid to wear it.
Yeah.
And he is very calculated about the space he wants to occupy in the industry.
What do you mean?
Well, he has told the press that he believes the era of the ripped action movie hero-like, the Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger archetype from the 80s and 90s, is primed for a massive cultural comeback.
Oh, I totally see that happening.
And he intends to be the one to fill that vacuum.
I mean, he already has the discipline, the muscles, the diet. He was basically just waiting for the industry to catch up.
But he isn't just waiting for the phone to ring either.
Right. And stay tuned and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss what's coming next. Because he is tackling the business side now by launching his own production company.
Yes, PB&J Productions.
I honestly love the origin of this name so much. It goes right back to his arrival in America.
Yeah, he thought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, along with Gatorade, were the absolute peak of American cuisine.
Which is so funny.
So he ate them constantly just to fit in. He even brings PB&J sandwiches to his high-level studio pitch meetings now.
It just shows a remarkable level of grounding. Like, he isn't running from his past or trying to artificially elevate his status. He is actually finding humor in his own journey.
But the projects PB&J Productions is developing are anything but lighthearted.
Right. They are currently pitching a television series titled Glitch.
And according to the sources, it is a Black Mirror-style sci-fi thriller.
The premise of this is amazing.
It's set in a world where society relies on a central satellite that allows people to project digital filters and avatars onto themselves in real life.
Wait, so you can literally change your race, your gender, your entire physical appearance just to advance your career or, like, manipulate a relationship?
Precisely. Everyone is hiding behind a curated digital mask. And the entire dramatic engine of the show hinges on a single terrifying premise.
Which is?
What happens when that central satellite glitches and every single person on Earth is suddenly forced to reveal their true, unfiltered self to the people around them?
The psychological layers to this pitch are just wild. I mean, think about it. A guy whose entire public persona has been filtered, manipulated, and projected by the global tabloids for the last 7 years is now writing a show about a society that is literally hiding behind fake digital avatars.
It's so meta.
It is. He's taking the exact media objectification he survived, the way the world forced an avatar onto him, and he is translating it into a sci-fi allegory.
It is a really profound method of processing trauma and reclaiming agency. He is taking control of the very concept of the mask.
Yeah.
And what is incredibly telling is that while he is developing these intense Hollywood projects, his actual day-to-day life has become remarkably quiet.
Honestly, good for him.
Yeah. The News International source notes that he has been happily dating real estate agent Brooke Irvine for nearly 2 years now.
Oh, wow. 2 years.
Yeah. They are living a quiet, low-key life in Los Angeles with their dog, operating completely outside of the paparazzi circus.
He really seems to have found a very solid center of gravity. He actually mentioned a piece of advice a mentor gave him early in his career.
What was it?
They told him, don't ever believe it when people tell you you're the worst, and don't believe it when they tell you you're the best. They're both lying.
That is fantastic advice.
Right. When you look at his trajectory, from the Iranian kid learning English through action movies, to the guy navigating a pop culture hurricane, to a producer pitching high-concept sci-fi shows, it is clear he took that advice to heart.
Which brings us to the core takeaway for you, the listener. Because while most of us aren't dodging paparazzi helicopters or navigating international tabloid scandals, the mechanics of labels affect every single one of us.
Oh, absolutely.
We all carry labels placed on us by our families, who only remember who we were at 15. We carry labels from our workplaces that box us into a specific role, or labels from past relationships that try to define our entire capacity for love based on a single failed chapter.
Exactly. People think they know the entirety of who you are based on a passing glance. Sam Asghari's story is a really powerful reminder that while you absolutely cannot control the label the world decides to slap on your forehead, you retain complete control over how hard you work to build a life beyond it.
Right.
You can forge your own suit of armor, you can learn the language of the rooms you want to enter, and you can write your own script.
And that leaves us with a final lingering thought to mull over, building directly off of the premise of his TV concept, Glitch.
Oh, I love this.
If his theory holds true, and to some degree, we're all just projecting avatars to survive in modern society.
Yeah.
Curating our social media feeds, wearing a specific mask at the office, playing a highly edited role in our relationships.
Then what happens when your satellite crashes? In your own life, when the convenient labels are finally burned away and the digital masks are completely stripped off, who is the actual person left standing underneath?
It might just be the most important question we ever have to answer.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.